Shalom, friends. Greetings from Israel. I would like to share with you, my brothers and sisters, the Jews in America, my thoughts on what you can do to help Israel during these difficult days. I live here in Tekoa, which is a Jewish town south of Jerusalem, 15 minutes south of Jerusalem, adjacent to Bethlehem, the town of King David, as you might recall. And Tekoa itself, you might remember from the Bible, if you ever read it, that the prophet Amos, what lived here, the prophet Amos, who said, may justice flow like a mighty river, and righteousness like a strong stream. Here in Tekoa, the second day, meaning last Sunday, 10 days ago, the day after the Sabbath attack in the south, some 200 of our local Arabs around here were throwing rocks at some of our soldiers near the town, and the soldiers managed to disperse them with one bullet to the knee of one of them, and the rest of them ran away, thankfully. So things are fairly quiet here, especially since all the building projects are stopped and the schools were closed. Now the schools just started to open half days. But I don't know who comes up with these names for these Israeli Defense Force operations. They always come up with crazy names, and they didn't do any less this time. It's called Operation Iron Swords. But I just realized today perhaps it has some meaning for me, because my wife, who was a little concerned about the neighbors here, the Arab neighbors perhaps trying to attack us, she asked me to try to put together some weapons. So a few days ago I took this fence post, basically this iron fence post, and I sort of rigged it up, with a little handle here so I could hold it comfortably and whatnot. And so this is my weapon. So this is my Operation Iron Swords. Hope I don't have to use it. But I want to tell you what you can do to help Israel during these troubling times. President Biden is supposed to come here tomorrow, Wednesday, and meet with us, not me, but meet with the Prime Minister and meet with our other leaders. And then he's supposed to proceed to Jordan for meetings with the King of Jordan and the President of Egypt and Mahmoud Abbas from the Palestinian Authority. Now we suspect that the main purpose of President Biden's visit is to discourage Israel from retaking Gaza, which we believe, myself and many other people in Israel, that retaking Gaza, control of Gaza, is the solution to this problem. And so, as American Jews, you can help by telling your representatives in Congress that we do not want President Biden to try to bribe us with $1 or $2 billion of aid. We're not selling ourselves short. We don't need that aid. We want to defend ourselves. Now, I'd like to explain very briefly, for those who don't know, how Israel got into this mess. All the wars of Israel, including this one, are essentially a continuation of the War of Independence in 1948. In 1948, when Israel declared independence, the neighboring Arab countries declared war on it, and before they declared war on it, or at the same time, concurrently, they told the native Arabs here in Palestine, which was from 1920 until 1948 under the British Mandate, they told the local Arabs to flee so they could get out of the way, so they could conquer Palestine, and then they could come back to their homes. They wanted to conquer parts of Palestine for themselves, and there were locals who wanted to build another Arab state here, but most of their neighbors were not interested in that. They're interested in conquering Palestine for themselves. And they told the Arabs to flee, which they did in large numbers. And many of them ended up in different places, including between Palestine and Egypt in what is known as the Gaza Strip. Since then, until today, just yesterday they said the same thing, Egypt and Jordan are neighbors, as well as Syria in the north and the other Lebanon, the other neighboring Arab countries, do not want to take in any of the Palestinian refugees. Therefore, they've been in these places, these refugee camps, which have now become whole cities, like Gaza. They've been there for 75 plus years. Now, as it was, the Egyptians managed to capture Gaza in 1948 war. And they controlled Gaza until 1967. They did not let the Palestinians there into their country. They simply occupied it. In 1967, Israel conquered many areas, including the Gaza Strip. And the Gaza Strip was then under Israeli sovereignty from 1967 until 1994. And those were good days. Those are the best days, according to both the Gazans who live in Gaza and according to the Israelis. Things were relatively quiet there. Israelis used to go down there and shop there. And those were the halcyon days of Gaza. In 1994, the Israeli government got into their heads to try to establish a Palestinian Authority, which would have control of civilian matters in parts of the West Bank and Gaza. And they started in 1994 with the cities of Jericho and Gaza, as we call it in Hebrew. The Palestinian Authority came into power there in 1994. And then, in 2005, the Israeli government decided in their great wisdom to remove the Israeli troops from outside the Gaza, the city of Gaza. The Israeli army was still in control of the Gaza Strip, although the city of Gaza itself was under Palestinian Authority rule. The Gaza Strip, which included Jewish settlements around it, was under Israeli control. And in 2005, the Israeli government evacuated the 10,000 Jewish residents of the Gaza Strip who were living in these towns around the Gaza city and removed their patrols from around the city of Gaza. In 2007, and the Palestinian Authority, known as the PA, was still the ruler in Gaza. In 2007, the Palestinian Authority was replaced in a bloody coup by the Hamas, terror organization. The Palestinian Authority is also a terror organization, but Hamas was a more fundamentalist religious Palestinian terrorist organization. And the people, in fact, voted for them. And why was that? It's a little bit understandable, because the Palestinian Authority was incredibly corrupt. All the money they were getting from all of Europe and elsewhere, they put into their pockets. And the people wanted people that they could relate to, more religious people, and also the Hamas provides charity for people, helps them. So they voted for Hamas, and Hamas threw out a very bloody way. They literally threw some people off buildings and other things that they're accustomed to do, as people have learned recently, those that didn't know before. And they took control of Gaza. Since then, there's been 4 wars. This is the 5th war since 2007, when the Gaza has attacked Israel with all types of rockets. This time, unexpectedly, and to our great sorrow and remorse, they made a full invasion, a full incursion, using vehicles and 1,000 gunmen, etc., which of course made this war the worst war yet for us. So, as I said in the beginning, we believe that many of the great rabbis of our generations and other people who just have common sense have said that the best solution for Gaza is that it should come under Israeli control again. Where the people are prepared to do this, our brave soldiers are prepared to do this. We are trying to convince our leaders to do this, because our leaders are often more scared to do things than the people themselves. And we want to tell President Biden, we don't need your money to bribe us to prop up this thing. This whole dream of having another Arab state in Israel is a dream that leads to bloodshed in the world and bloodshed in Israel. We need to make Rav Ori Sharkey this morning came out with a statement, which I'd like to share with you, that this is an historic time. The world is waiting for Israel to show that the evil gets what it deserves. When people in the world see that evil does not get what it deserves, then that encourages evil around the world. As even today we see more terrorist attacks starting around the world. As today some Swedes were attacked in Brussels simply because they were Swedes. So please tell your congresspeople to let Israel do what it needs to do and retake the Gaza Strip. That'll be the best thing for everyone. That is the most humanitarian thing to do for everyone. Whoever supports Palestine, or supports Hamas, or supports Israel not retaking the Gaza Strip, is essentially supporting bloodshed. Thank you very much. Remember, Israel, don't leave the world without it. Thanks.